essentially they're putting a cap on highlights of 100 hours for every streamer. It sucks, but it's also like, I don't know. They gave some stats about it, and it basically boils down to like, hey, we were paying a lot of money and no one really watched the VODs that were highlighted on most of the channels. I don't like that they like grouped all streamers into there and said it was something like, what, 5%? Was it 5% or 0.5%?
0.5.
0.5%. Yeah, which 0.5. Is that's probably like, if you look into it, that's probably they're the ones that actually are making money on the platform that actually utilize highlights. But yeah, that's a thing. Where the hell
did you guys check your stats when this news came out?
Oh yeah, I was 5,000 or I forget how many. It was 5,000 hours or 3,000 hours, something like that. I was definitely over.
Okay.
And the majority of them, I think they were all drop frames VODs. Because we'll highlight the DF VOD if I play music or something before the show in like the 10-minute countdown. Yep. The moderators will cut that out so it's not claimed or anything like that.
That's exactly what I use the highlight system for anything that was like questionably DMCA, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what, like, you know, I pay my editor to chop it up into like 2-hour chunks, cut out the breaks, and put them in the highlights. So like, yeah, I had 5,100 hours of highlights, because that's, we were using the highlights as our VOD library. And what, I mean, I get it. Everybody, like most everybody understands why they're doing it. It's because people are using it, like I am, for storage. It's not a hugely watched thing, and they're correct. It's not. It's like some really, really low percentage of VOD watchers watch the highlights on most channels. But on my channel, like, that's what most people watch for VODs, because all the fluff is cut out. You know, me yapping at the beginning, or like, you know, wasting time or whatever. So it sucks, but I get it. But the thing that sucks the most, and was just really dickish, was the time limit they give you. It's like
100%.
How about, like, someone suggests, like, why don't you do it gradually? Yep. You know, even start at 1,000. It's like you have, 60 days to get it down to 1,000 hours. And then you have another 60 days to get it down to 500 or whatever, a system for like letting us, giving us enough time to fucking get this shit taken care of before it's deleted forever.
Yeah.
How about this? How about they, first of all, give a much bigger time limit, because no caster, especially daily streamers, like 2 months to go through 4,000+ hours of content. And then assuming you're on a connection that can actually move that amount of data quickly, like that's a whole other thing as well. Then you have to bring in caps and things like that. So time limit alone should have been at least 6 months, if not longer, stage, whatever. But imagine if Twitch had, I don't know, partnered with an offsite storage solution and been like, hey, we'll help facilitate you move your data there. Yeah. Let us know what you want to do. You can pay them and we'll give them access to your channel and they'll just move it all over there and you can have it as long as you want, et cetera, et cetera. Like, there are so many different ways this could have been done that would not feel like a slap to the face to the casters that have this amount of data. This is one of the worst possible ways they could have done it. Yeah. And they've also, like, don't get me wrong, it had to be done. Because what they're doing now, it shouldn't have been on since the beginning. The fact that it's been on for this long is crazy. It had to be done. But acting like they now have to rip the Band-Aid off is just like, dude, it's been a decade almost. Like, you don't need, like, come on, man. You're not that hard off for money. Like, it's not even going to save them that much. Like, I don't know. Whole thing just seems like another very poorly managed Twitch PR event. Like, they just, at this point, I'm questioning if they can do this kind of stuff right. Like, it just seems like they keep shooting themselves in the foot with this stuff. It's wild. Yeah. It's wild.
Just give us a fucking year to get our shit together, because 5,000 hours is a lot. And there's people out there with even more than that.
Yeah. If any, let me actually look. I wonder if that, so the April 19th is a Saturday, so it doesn't really have anything to do with tax season. I mean, it is 4 days off from the end of the financial year, but Zach Busey did some reporting on this. He said multiple staffers familiar with the matter claim this will allegedly save Twitch, quote, several $100,000 a year. The original plan was allegedly to phase out highlights entirely, but they decided on a middle ground that maintains 100 hours of storage. So they were just going to scrap highlights completely. So we got, I guess, the best of the two, which is kind of nuts. I guess their reasoning with VODs is that VODs disappear on most channels after, is it 60 days?
Yeah.
Or that most people are, using YouTube now, which I think is
for VODs,
arguably the best thing ever. Like if they had ever wanted people to multi-stream on YouTube harder, like this is basically them saying you need to be multi-streaming on YouTube moving forward. Like if you have the capabilities to do it, you need to do it because then your VODs will be on YouTube for as long as you want.
Yep.
So this is essentially in a big way just pushing people off the platform, or at least encouraging them to diversify as much as possible.
It really is.
Yeah, without question. Apparently, if they phased out the feature entirely, it would have saved, quote, millions per year instead of hundreds of thousands per year, which I guess that makes sense. I'm seeing if
why is everyone not switching to YouTube? Most casters that haven't yet are starting to multi-stream on YouTube. There's no reason to switch to YouTube. There's no reason not to stream on Twitch. It's just, as somebody in chat said earlier, kind of aptly, let me see if I can find it here. They basically said y'all are coming at this assuming Amazon actually gives an F about you and us. I feel like that's not anchored in reality here, says Julian. And I think with stuff like this, that is the writing on the wall. The writing on the wall is 100% Twitch is just a company that's worried about the bottom line these days. That is where we are. And I think we all kind of know that. That's how it's been for the last couple years as well. But I mean, the big thing here is we not only have to assume that there is some impetus here that wants things to remain positive on the platform, but it's also in Twitch's money-making interest to not do stuff like this in this way. So it's easy to say Amazon doesn't care about you. Why are you thinking that? Yeah, but they do care about money, and stuff like this pisses off the people that make some money. The small amount they're actually still making, because we know that Twitch is not a profitable platform, or at least hasn't been. So I don't know. It's in their interest to not do stuff like this. From any perspective you look at it from, even if you think Amazon's a soulless company out for money, this is not even good for that perspective.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's just not a good move.
It's always been a little crazy to me that they automatically save every stream, every minute of streaming that you have, and then they offered so many features. I mean, but while they had it, I was taking advantage of it. Absolutely.
Well, I mean,
and then
the idea.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the idea is that the VODs would get them the ad revenue they need for the storage. It just didn't work out that way. They never got to the point where they encouraged the VOD system enough, made it good enough for people to use it instead of YouTube, or to there's not enough features to replace YouTube. So I think this is in a way kind of them maybe giving up on that a little bit, being maybe this is, we'll just let Twitch or YouTube handle that kind of stuff, and we'll just focus on the live stuff. So, yeah.
No, I've said it for years. I would if Twitch figured out a way to a decent way to monetize our VODs, I might just not do YouTube anymore, because I'm of the mind that having all my shit in one centralized location is better.
Yeah.
If I live stream on Twitch, all my VODs are on Twitch. I'm making money on both things. So that's the whole reason why I have a YouTube channel to begin with. It's, and I mean, frankly, I lose money on it. I've lost money on it for a decade.
Yeah.
And the reason why I do it is it's basically I look at it like paying for advertisement. It's I'm on YouTube. If you only do YouTube, my VODs are there.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the big thing. These days it's diversification. It's just casting more lines in different lakes kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, and to be honest, from a VOD perspective, from a viewer perspective, the only big thing that you miss by going to YouTube is you get a better player. It functions. You can use it both on mobile and desktop with like a competent client, because we're not even going to start talking about the Twitch mobile client, which is just a fucking
or app or
show
oh god
right now. But the only thing you lose is chat, right? Like you don't have the Twitch chat, which a lot of people do enjoy watching as a VOD, as a parallel to their VOD.
It's interesting because everything that Twitch lacks in VODs, YouTube lacks in live streaming. Like they both are really good at what they're good at, and they suck at what they're not. Like actually suck at what they're not.
Yeah.
And now we see Twitch just giving up on their side essentially. I hope YouTube doesn't do the same with their live streaming, although arguably you could say they already did years ago.
I think
when Ryan
they
left.
kind of already did. Yeah.
They kind of already did. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at where was, I don't know where Dan was, Mr. Clancy was saying all this stuff, but he did talk about the other Twitch news was that they're going to be running shared gift sub promotions throughout the year. The first one will be in the last few days at the end of March, during which 5 gift subs will be discounted by 35%. And then he also added that they're working on the ability for creators to run their own sub discount promotions. So I'm kind of curious how that will work, if it'll be like limited
asking
to,
for that for like 10 years.
Yeah,
So
if that'll be
cool.
like a once a quarter or whenever the broadcaster wants, or how they're gonna, how that works, like how that comes out as a win for Twitch in terms of the frequency.
I can already see it now. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, no, you can have permanent sub discounts and run it whenever you want, and it's gonna be great. By the way, it only comes out of your earnings, not ours. But it's whenever you want. It's totally fine. Like you do it.
You're probably right. It's probably you.
Well, I mean, but I know, like that's the OnlyFans model, right? The
is that
content
the
creators
model?
content creators on OnlyFans can set their own subscription price.
Well, I mean, we've been asking to be able to like set our sub price and tiers. Like there was a big push of being able to like Patreon our own stuff, basically.
Yeah,
we kind move that in, and that whole thing fell apart when we saw the splits that Twitch wanted to take with that stuff. That's why one of the reasons that tiered subs are barely a thing is because the splits are horrendous. But
yeah,
it's not really going to work, unfortunately. I don't think.
Yeah.
We'll see though.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Kind of similar news, but just for other streaming platforms. I didn't realize that, when was this? This was about 5 days ago, 6 days ago. Facebook Live will now also start deleting live stream VODs after 30 days. So it seems like everyone's good in VODs, and there's like, you have them, YouTube. Like, this is your thing. We're not going to fuck with this. Yeah, it's
Although, to be fair, no, like, I didn't know Facebook Live was still a thing until you said that. So that's...
Yeah, I don't know who streams on Facebook Live still. I've never...
Nobody I know does.
I've never interacted with the platform before. But
yeah.
Just for...
I think Facebook Gaming kind of died.
Probably, yeah.
All the people that used to stream on it that I know of don't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then the big Twitch news. There's 4 limited time global emotes right now. I guess going for Valentine's. Are they already turned on? There's share the hug, share the LO, share the VE, and love smash. Are these still live?
Love smash.
Oh yeah, they are still live. Yeah, love smash. These are from emote artist Video Game Shay. At least that they got a
real artist.
They got a real artist. Yeah, that's
good for them.
That's progress.
Movement in the right direction.
Yeah,
look at them go.
The last time it was not. If you're wondering why we're making such comments,
this timeline, man, I tell you.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So that's all on the Twitch news that I saw. But we have cut most of our highlights in my neck of the woods, and we are below the 100 range. I think we're at like 78 or something.
It was a little awkward for us because a lot of my save stuff was like stuff that we couldn't put on YouTube for various reasons. So like I had basically an entire I may still actually have an entire Baldur's Gate 3 library of just the sex scenes.
You're like an IGN.
I know, right? I know. So it's kind of like, what's this Co-Carnage guy doing with his VODs? Interesting. Okay.
Oh,
that's a thing.
That's funny.
Huh.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Does JP have a VOD
There was
channel?
another,
It's kind of the main channel, really. Like it's, yeah, pretty much the main channel at this point. What were we gonna say, Zeke?
It doesn't really affect us that much, but there was a what is it? Enforcement, like policy enforcement updates for Twitch.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Oh, okay. I thought you might know about it. I was just bringing it up.
I know about it.
I saw a blurb
because-
about it.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the enforcement stuff they just announced was some of the reasons that I remember that council I joined a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was why I joined it, was to get the stuff like that implemented. So
Okay.
now here we are years later. I haven't been associated with it for a long ass time, and we're seeing it like finally come to light. So that's kind of good.
So what are the enforcements? Just more rules?
I'm not sure. The implementation, I just kind of briefly read over it, so we'd have to get the details. But it's basically a lot more transparency in like why you're getting banned, a lot more transparency in the reasons, a lot more communication when that stuff happens. So, all the stuff that they should have been doing since day one, essentially.
Yep.
The biggest takeaway for me was escalating consequences. It was like not like static consequence. It was like first violation this, and then second violation this, and then third violation more and more severe punishments, I think.
What's going to be really interesting is to see if they stick to it. That's actually a huge change, because we have so many casters on the platform that just basically make a cycle of getting banned and taking a vacation, coming back to big stuff, getting banned. Like, there are people that would not make it through this new iteration that are actively casting today. So it's going to be interesting to see if they actually stick to it or not.
Okay, so yeah, here's the
first time a big name gets busted.
Right.
We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, violations not expire, escalating consequences. Go ahead, Zeke.
Yeah, if you violate within the same policy, this is directly from their blog. If you violate within the same policy category, i.e. hateful content or conduct, multiple times within the violation's expiration window, 90 days, 1 year, 2 years, depending on the violation, the length of suspension you receive for each subsequent violation will increase. That's that part of it.
Got it.
Yep.
But there's also the statute of limitations kind of a thing that they're enforcing as well. It's that's kind of part of that. It's like, if you don't violate within 6 months, say like you have a sexual content ban for 3 days or whatever, and then 61 days go by and you have another one, it's just like the first one because it's been enough time or something like that.
Yep. Which is kind of what they did before. They just, arbitrarily decided when that was done instead of having any type of rhyme or reason. So, and that way they could just do whatever they wanted with their VIP casters, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see it in black and white. But, the first step is seeing the rules, and the second step's enforcing them. And unfortunately, the rules mean nothing unless they're enforced. So we'll have to... Not the first time we've seen Twitch come out with some ballsy rules.
Yeah.
So we'll see if this sticks.
It's one of those things
that sticks.
And I've seen this conversation / I guess feeling, community sentiment is maybe, I guess, what you could call it. But like, is this the time where we start being like, Dan, stop going to dinners with people and like, let's start having some fucking changes on the platform? Like, is that past? Are we at that point? Is that even a point that we can be at? Like, I've seen a lot. The people are starting to get angry about all of that, I guess is what I'm getting at. Is the honeymoon period is over. That's a great way to put it. From Blaze Rom in my chat.
Now, are you specifically talking about with Dan or?
Yeah, just like, I guess with Dan's message that he's, talking with partners and being involved more in the community. Like when he came on, that seemed like a pretty big initiative from his part. I think both of you shared dinner with him at one point. Mm-hmm. But now it feels like it's just kind of been this like slow process. For those that know, Dan is Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, who replaced Emmett Shear, who was the CEO for, I don't know, a decade or some shit like that, a very long time. And Dan's been in that position for 3 or 4 years.
Been a bit now.
Yeah.
It's been a bit.
I just wonder like if it's like what the next big thing is, right? I guess like what's on the horizon, because I don't know.
It's interesting because, the Dan for almost the entire time he's been here has really been pushing like the stream together, guest star stuff and all that kind of thing. And we're just kind of getting quieter and quieter about that.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, like, what is Dan's next big thing? Is there a next big thing for him? Because it's looking more and more like that's not going to pan out. So like, that's not the big Twitch feature that people are looking for. The whole knock thing, I don't know a single caster that uses that.
Yeah, I don't even
most have turned it off.
I don't use the knock system. I just send people a link to do the stream together thing, and that's it.
Yeah, and so that, there's a lot of things there. I would say, like, I think one thing that would be awesome, and we've never really seen them do this. We've seen kind of them do this a little bit with the patch note stuff, but seeing like a roadmap, like what Twitch is thinking the future is going to look like for Twitch. I don't know if they know that at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. But yeah,
it could still be like, hey, we're still in the turn profits phase, because that seems like their big initiative, especially with this, this VOD
with the VOD
stuff.
thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is trying to cut the corners, as it were, and make as much money as possible, or make money in the first place.
Be profitable.
Be profitable.
It's always good for companies, right?
Yeah. But I just wonder, like, exactly what you just said, Ko. Like a roadmap, I think would do a lot of good, because I'm curious if they even know what the next like big product is, or if it's more of just like, hey, we're coasting along, we're trying to be profitable. That's what our goal is right now.
Well, a roadmap would also alleviate some of the fucking tension from shit like this, the VOD thing, like the highlights thing. It's like, if we knew it was coming down the road, it's not like they weren't thinking like of doing this, a long time ago. I'm sure they've been thinking, they're like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get rid of it? It's like, oh, we better just do it. It's like, how about you tell us a year ago? Like, jump in the fucking DeLorean, give us a heads up on your roadmap a year ago, and then we'll figure it out. Like, by the time it gets here, I would have been prepared, maybe.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess we will. It's one of those, classic comments from me. We'll see. I don't know. We're gonna keep doing what we do around here, and we'll see what Twitch does in the long run. But I feel like every like live stream advancement or evolution of what this job is has just been us adjusting to what Twitch isn't doing in a lot of ways. And now like multi-streaming, like, oh, we're just gonna put everything on YouTube. We're gonna multi-stream to YouTube and have that just be our VODs. That's where all of our VODs are gonna be now. And some people were clued into that, ahead of time, and so they have years of VODs, but some people are also just using Twitch VODs and have been using Twitch VODs since, I guess, the last apocalypse, the VOD apocalypse in 2017? Whenever that happened the first time around, when they gave us, I think, 2 months or 3 months to just get rid of our VODs. Whenever all that happened. So we'll see. And that's the latest doom and gloom on Twitch, I guess. It sucks to be so doom and gloomy about it, but that's where I think a lot of our heads are, is just figuring it all out.
And the biggest suck is not even for streamers, because like, it's true, we're not making money on Twitch VODs, like, at all.
Right.
So
no one is, apparently.
The biggest suck is for the viewers, like the people who like watching VODs and stuff like that. It's just it makes me feel bad for people who like can't make it to the stream and like really want to see how blank turns out and shit like that, because I'm not making any money from you watching it. It's just nice to have that, and I feel bad for anybody who is a VOD watcher.
Yeah. I did bring up the mobile app. There was actually a tweet that was going around from Senna that had about 550,000 views. That was just very bluntly, Twitch, for the love of all things, please make the mobile app usable. It's been months. Clips are zoomed in and unplayable due to the TikTok format. And the sound doubles when you click to watch the full video. The mini player crashes the entire app. The chat freezes nonstop and then won't load.
Yeah, and like, it really is it's garbage.
It's garbage.
Absolute garbage.
You made a joke, Ko, a couple episodes ago, where you said like I was talking about LSF or something and how I can't watch any of the clips there. And you're like, oh, just use the alternate link. Everyone uses the alternate link.
Yeah.
JP, like, what are you doing? And now that's all I do. Like, I don't even go to the fucking Twitch app to view clips. I go and look at like the reposted clip on another platform entirely, because you just can't watch it.
And it works 10 times better.
Yeah, half the time you like click into a top clip somewhere and it's centered on the screen, and the caster's camera is like in a corner somewhere, so that you have no idea what the clip is even trying to show or reference. And then
how is it so bad? I'll tell you how it's so bad. The same reason that almost all the things at Twitch are bad these days. Money. They're trying to save too much money, and they're just making terrible decisions that they think are saving money. God knows the amount of experience that was on the team that made that mobile app.
Yeah.
And how much it actually cost them and how much it should have cost them if they had done it right. So no, I mean, it's the fact that it was released in its initial state. People don't even remember when it got first released. It was worse than it is now. Like, it was terrible when it was released, to the point where I'm practically convinced there was no QAing done on it, like at all. Like, it didn't even work properly, let alone function properly. And then since then, it has been nothing but terrible. Like the entire community is like, do not like, and they've done like nothing to fix it or remedy it. So it's baffling how like, not only could have a product like that made it out of a company as large as Twitch's, but then how it could have lasted this long with as little changes as it's had. It's baffling.
Yeah.
It's baffling. Yeah.
I was scrolling
It's wild.
To all the responses. There's like, so many top 0.5% of the platform are just responding and being like, yeah, it fucking sucks, Twitch. Can we fix this? There's so many people that are just responding.
But I mean, 10 times this amount of people made the same plea when the app came out, and they did basically nothing. They made like a few minor fixes and a few minor changes and moved a couple things around, and they were like, you're good, right? Okay, cool. And everyone was like, no, we're not good. And they were like, well, we're working on the next thing now, so that sucks for you.
Yeah. Whatever the next thing is.
Yeah.
So
we're going to go make it so streamers can knock on other streamers instead of...
They did actually push kind of silently. There was a update to that product, I guess is what you could call. Now when you do shared chats, you can there's an option to dim the other chats to where it's like slightly opaque and your chat is normal.
Hey, fair. I like the shared chat thing. Like, we've been wanting shared chat stuff for decades. Like, that's a good feature.
Yeah.
That's a good feature. Like, good job, Twitch.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Like, credit where it's due. We love that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
Broken clocks right twice a day. But yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, good credit where it's due. Good job on that one. Yep.